Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty Blue Hayes. I'm the award-winning author of the book, Wine, Sex, and Suicide, My Near-Death Divorce. And I'm going to continue with the author reading. Again, if you're sensitive to any content, depression, alcohol abuse, and suicidal ideation, then don't watch these videos because it's kind of that's the topic. Okay, so I left off with, the dark places I, thought about as a teenager. Okay, so Mark is the man I've known for 17 years. Even with the betrayal, when I looked into his eyes, I saw our history pieced together in the flecks of brown and gold around his pupils. In one glance, I saw the day we met, our first kiss, the first test of our friendship, all our joys and fears. It's all recorded in a kaleidoscope behind the eyes. I thought ahead to Christmas and how crushing it will be not to be with my family. My friend invited me to join her on Cape Cod, but those sandy dunes and chowder shacks hold memories of Mark and his family from the summer Evan, our nephew, was born. What if we take a few days and volunteer in New Orleans at Habitat for Humanity, she offered. At first it sounded like an idea to consider, until I remembered the plans Mark and I had to go to New Orleans in March with all his cousins. They all are turning 40 this year, including him. I felt there was no place in the United States I could spend Christmas. So I looked into volunteering at an orphanage in Romania. I hastily reviewed information from Mondo Challenge, a volunteer vacation company I found on the internet, and spoke with the program coordinator about the details. I have to make a decision by Tuesday when I speak with her again. I immediately called my therapist to run the idea by her and ask if she thought I'd completely lost my mind. But she supported the idea. I feel like I need to be around others who are in a tougher situation than I am. Maybe I should volunteer for some death row inmates. Later. My friend Melody was nice enough to stay with me last night and tonight so I wouldn't feel so alone on these first few days when Mark isn't coming back to the house. She's been my hairstylist for years and always came to the house to cut my hair. We'd catch up over wine, and when Mark got home, usually just before 9 p.m., she'd cut his hair too. She always looked so put together with her short, layered blonde hair, framing her flawlessly MAC made-up face. She wore nothing but black, low-cut, flowy shirts that featured her cleavage. Rhinestone rings decorated her fingers with a French manicure on her long nails. She sat next to me on the couch, blinking her thick false eyelashes with compassion when I started crying. It's okay, babe, you're gonna get through this. I don't know, Mel, I don't know. She filled up our glasses to the rim with some of the good wine Mark and I brought back from Paso Robles and cracked a smile. We need to check out this site my friend told me about. I couldn't help but laugh through my tears as I typed in the web address, sugardaddy.com. Hundreds of men's pictures appeared. Ew, she gasped. Discreet arrangement, please. He better have a lot of money. He sure doesn't have looks. It gave us some laughs, but it was also pretty pathetic to see that my ripe old age of 46 is well past the cutoff age of what men even in their 60s are looking for. Then again, it was called sugar daddy for a reason. I was used to a younger looking guy. Mark was 7 years younger than me. The guys my age on the website looked horrible. I looked to Melody for an answer. Don't they use sunscreen or moisturizer? Do I look that old? I imagined my profile would say, I was a good conversationalist who still had all her teeth. I feared I'd be working in a windowless office as someone's secretary, working 8:30 to 6 as my hips and ass grew to envelop my office chair. I pictured myself adopting the 2 cats I recently saw from the local pet store, which would make me an official crazy cat lady who lived alone on the hill. Having just recently watched the movie Grey Gardens, this was a particularly startling vision because I am quite friendly with an outdoor raccoon we named RJ. While I don't want to be single forever, it is impossible to imagine a life with anyone other than Mark. The night we talked, I told Mark that if I were to have sex with someone, it would feel like I was being assaulted. I just can't fathom how disconnected he must have felt to have sex with multiple people. Just a PS also, I'm trying to tame down the intense language and swear words. Friday, October 29th. I did something Mark would have hated. I taped a card to the refrigerator. It was from my cousin Pam, 6 months ahead of me in the divorce process on the East Coast. A note just checking in on how I was doing. I didn't even use a magnet. I used tape, a small step toward my unwanted independence. But it felt like a significant victory at the time. I only hope I have more of those to get through this torture. The second trip to the grocery store was as pathetic, if not worse, as the first. I picked up ingredients for another batch of chicken paprikash to make for friends who just had a baby. As I shuffled through the store, I heard my name called out over the PA system. Patty, call extension 25. Patty, extension 25. A cold shudder went through me. Was this going to be my future? Was another Patty living in the alternate post-divorce world going to be working at a grocery store? I wouldn't be able to handle it. I couldn't stand all day and have to constantly smile and be nice to people. My body ached just thinking about it. The thought of memorizing all the different grocery codes and not being able to walk away to use the restroom when I needed made me feel anxious. I feel like I don't have control of my life anymore, or a choice in what happens to me. What if I end up as a secretary listening to a terrible boss pointing out all of my mistakes? I'm a slow, dyslexic typist, and I can't handle multiple phone lines, evidenced when I filled in for the front desk receptionist at an entertainment management company I worked for in Beverly Hills when I first moved to LA. Big, important people had to redial after I mistakenly disconnected them, and they weren't happy about it. I should have listened to my mother when I was 12 years old. Never trust a man to take care of you. Of course, prior to her divorce, the message had always been that my knight in shining armor would ride in on a white horse and whisk me away to a happy life, that he would take care of me forever. It was a confusing time. Looking back, though, it makes sense. She was just as scared then as I am now. Okay, so I'll stop there because I don't want the video to get too long. Attention spans are short, as we know, because of social media. But I had a thought. Oh, the whole victim mentality thing. You know, I don't feel like I have control over my life. Like, I don't have control over what's going to happen to me. I really felt like I had no control over my future. What did I want? Now, of course, when you're going through a crisis, you have no idea what you want. You want what you had in the past, but it's not coming back. You can't go back. You can only go forward, because that's just the way life works at the moment, right? We, can't necessarily time travel and go back, and we can't speed up and go into the future, realistically. So, that pattern, I think I had built up over a long time. You don't just all of a sudden drop into a mindset where you don't feel like you have control. That was obviously a mindset that I had developed over a long time. Since that time, my mindset has completely changed, and I take responsibility for my life. And it feels very empowering. And I've been able to do some pretty amazing things with my life on my terms, the way I choose to experience my life. So from going, from someone who was suicidal and completely depressed and didn't see a future for herself, to now, where I absolutely love, love, love my life, it's pretty incredible. The two things I attribute that to are changing my mind and healing emotionally and, the soul, like at a soul level. So I will continue with the next segment next time. Subscribe if you would like updates, and I'll see you on the next video.